Unlock the hidden power of sacred scriptures for your spiritual awakening. I never expected a single dream to change everything. It came to me in the dark of the night, whispering secrets that echoed deep within my soul. I woke up drenched in sweat, my heart racing like a wild animal, unsure of what was real and what was not. The room was thick with energy, and I could almost taste the electric charge in the air. Shadows danced along the walls, taunting me with glimpses of the unknown. Was it a vision? A warning? I didn't know. All I could feel was an overwhelming tide of doubt crashing against the shores of my mind. Each breath was heavy, weighted by uncertainty. I needed answers, something more substantial than this fleeting apparition that vanished with dawn's first light. In search of clarity, I wandered outside, the cool grass beneath my bare feet grounding me. The sun rose in a spectacular blaze of oranges and pinks, painting the sky with hues of hope. Sparrows chirped frenetic melodies, and the fragrance of wet earth filled my lungs. But amidst this beauty, an unsettling thought flickered. Had the dream been a call to action? As I sat cross-legged beneath the old oak tree, I closed my eyes and listened. Noises faded away into a hush, and all I could hear was the rustling of leaves, whispering secrets of their own. What did they know that I didn't? What did the ancient words of the scriptures truly hold? My heart thumped with anticipation, almost as if it understood the gravity of the answers that lay buried beneath age-old texts that I thought of the sacred books. They were more than pages. They were vessels of wisdom, hinted treasures waiting to be unearthed. I could feel the wind change direction, swirling, wrapping around me like a lover's embrace, guiding me to something greater. But what? Questions gnawed at my insides. Why did these signs keep appearing? They felt like threads woven into the fabric of my existence, tethering me to a destiny I couldn't quite grasp. The air grew thick, almost suffocating, making my pulse quicken. The trees seemed to lean closer, as if they were eavesdropping on my turmoil. And then it hit me, a fleeting vision. A silhouette bathed in luminous light standing at the edge of a vast sea. No words were spoken, yet I felt their weight pressing down on me, urging me to follow. What lay beyond that horizon? Was it the truth I so desperately sought, or another veil obscuring reality? I opened my eyes, gasping for breath, the world around me flooding back into focus. The sun glinted off the dewdrops like tiny jewels, yet nothing felt normal anymore. Answered questions led only to new mysteries. My journey had only just begun. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The ocean's distant roar beckoned to me in the moments that followed, a hypnotic rhythm that stirred something deep within my heart. Still encased in the warmth of the sun, I felt as though the golden light was inviting me, urging me to embark on a new leg of my journey. With hesitant resolve, I made my way toward the shoreline. The damp sand hugged my feet, and with every step, I could feel the whispers of the dream wrapping around me like tendrils of fog. The world felt more vibrant here. The colors of the beach were vivid, the taste of salt tickling my lips, the air alive with unspoken possibilities. Could the ocean reveal to me the truths hidden within those sacred texts? As I approached the water, my gaze fell upon a stone half buried in the sand, its surface smooth and glistening. It seemed ordinary, yet there was something extraordinary about how it caught the sunlight, radiating warmth as if it held the essence of countless tides. I crouched down and picked it up, noticing ancient carvings etched into its surface, symbols much like those I had encountered in my readings. This stone felt like a message, a fragment of a long-lost language pleading for recognition. I ran my fingers over the engravings, each groove awakening an ancient memory, a familiarity that sent ripples of energy coursing through me. Was this the sign I had been searching for? The realization washed over me like a wave crashing onto rock. Perhaps the stone was a bridge that connected the teachings of the scriptures with the truths of my own existence. But what lessons did these symbols conceal? As I examined the stone, I overheard laughter nearby. A group of children splashed joyfully in the waves, their untainted spirits dancing in carefree abandon. Their laughter rang clearer than any morning bell. It sliced through the veil of my contemplation and welcomed me into the present moment. They noticed me holding the stone and approached, their eyes full of curiosity, bright like shining stars. "What have you got there?" one of them asked, tilting their head to examine the relic in my hand. I hesitated but soon found my voice. "It's a stone with some markings," I replied, feeling oddly exposed. "Do you know what it means?" Another child chimed in, her wide eyes glimmering with expectation. "I'm still trying to figure that out," I admitted, caught between vulnerability and the innocence of their eagerness. "Maybe it means something special," the smallest of the bunch said, kneeling beside me. "Like a treasure map." A smile broke through the tension within me, and suddenly, I wasn't just searching for answers anymore. I was creating a connection, an exchange of wonder that transcended the boundaries of our ages. "Would you like to help me discover what it means?" I asked, my heart now opened wide like the ocean before us. They erupted into a chorus of excited yelps, enveloping me with their enthusiasm. Together, we began tracing the symbols in the sand with sticks as the waves lapped at our feet. Each mark became alive with the vibrant story we wove, a narrative filled with the desire for discovery, exploration, and camaraderie. In that moment, my own uncertainty melted away, replaced by the innocent curiosity of a child. A brilliant revelation dawned. This journey was not meant to be undertaken alone. As I gazed out at the horizon, the expanse of the ocean mirrored the depths of my journey. What awaited beyond those waves? A longing in my chest throbbed, perhaps a yearning for shared wisdom, for community, for understanding that transcended the individual. The stone felt warmer in my grasp, as if pulsating in sync with the rhythm of our laughter, the sea, and the vibrant dance of life. Yet, as the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the sand, a new question lingered in the corners of my mind. Did this journey truly belong to me? Or was I a mere vessel for the stories that needed to be told? Each adventure introduced new threads, intertwining lives and destinies, leaving me to ponder what role I was meant to play in this grand tapestry of existence. The shadows lengthened as the first stars began to twinkle against the twilight, and I realized that with every new experience came an endless pool of questions, each waiting for someone to dive deep and explore. What would be revealed if I continued to hold space for others on this journey? And what great truths still lingered beneath the surface, just waiting for a brave heart to unearth them? The ocean's tides ebbed, leaving behind a shimmering film of water tracing the contours of the land. As I watched the last rays of sunlight dance across the surface of the waves, I felt an inexplicable urge to return to the stone, now nestled in the warm embrace of my palm. Its symbols, still mysterious, seemed to pulse with a kind of energy that connected me to the earth, to the laughter of the children, and perhaps most crucially, to the stories that had long been silenced beneath the weight of time. Emboldened by my new companions, I proposed we return to my makeshift camp just beyond the reach of the tide. The darkening sky became a canvas of colors, mirroring the excitement that bubbled in my chest for what wisdom awaited us. We shimmied up the sand dunes, leaving the soft whispers of the ocean behind, our footprints a fleeting testament to our blending paths. Gathered around a small fire, the soft crackle of the wood harmonizing with the distant sound of the waves, I laid the stone at the center of our circle. The children, still gleeful yet curious, leaned closer. Their innocent faces glowed in the flickering light, waiting for me to unfold the secrets the stone held. And for a moment, the weight of my quest felt lighter. Sharing this with others opened a new perspective I had not anticipated. "What if it tells us about our past?" suggested one of the boys, his eyes wide with imagination. "Like a story from long, long ago? It could also show us where we're going," another chimed in, her face serious despite the spark of mirth in her eyes. I recalled the sacred texts once more, their teachings swirling in my memory like wine through the trees. "Perhaps it does both. Maybe it's a guide," I said thoughtfully, feeling the flicker of excitement within me stoke into a flame. "But we need to listen closely, feel the truth that resonates within the symbols." As I began to trace the carvings with my fingers, the flickering shadows around us formed into dynamic shapes, evoking the struggles and dreams of those who had come before. The air became charged, alive with anticipation. Together, we shared stories, each child recounting dreams and fears, hopes and questions for the future. With each story, the stone felt heavier with meaning, echoing with the weight of shared experiences. Do you think the stone needs to hear our stories? One of the children asked. Like it's a part of us? Maybe, I mused, my thoughts racing along the lines of connection and legacy. Each voice added layers of understanding and richness to the gathering. As night deepened, I became aware of a glowing presence looming beyond the darkness, a figure standing just at the edge of our firelight. A gentle energy radiated from this being, their silhouette wispy yet strong, as if they were neither entirely of this world nor the next. A flutter of apprehension swept through me, and yet, curiosity propelled me forward. The figure approached, and as they stepped into the warm yellow light, I could see their eyes carrying wisdom that seemed timeless. They held out their hands, palm up, and illuminating warmth enveloped us like a blanket in winter. I am a guardian of the beyond, the figure spoke, their voice a profound whisper, like the rustling leaves of ancient trees. You've awakened something important tonight, a ripple of connection. The children fell silent, eyes wide, lost in the paradox of awe and belonging. I felt my heart race. The implications of their words echoed in chambers I had yet to explore. But what do we do with this awakening? I asked, attempting to decipher the source of my own unease as the stone throbbed gently beneath my fingertips. The truths you seek are intertwined with your courage to follow the path of inquiry. Keep listening, keep sharing, the guardian beckoned. The symbols on that stone will reveal themselves when you honor the narrative within you and those around you. As the guardian stepped back into the twilight, their presence flickered like a star extinguished at dawn, leaving behind lingering questions. I turned to the children, their eyes shining like reflections of starlight. We have so much to explore, I said with renewed vigor. More stories, more to uncover, but I wonder, are we ready to embrace the deeper shadows of our truths? The quiet that enveloped us was profound. Only the sound of waves echoed in the distance, whispering secrets that were yet to unfold. What awaited us on this continued journey? What energies and revelations still lingered before us, entwined in the tapestry of existence? The answers danced just beyond my reach, and I couldn't help but feel that this was merely the beginning. The gentle hum of the ocean lullabied the whispers of our gathering as dawn broke, soft and golden, painting the world anew. The children, still caught in a dream-filled slumber, curled comfortably around the embers of our fire. As the light increased, I felt a surge of energy coursing through me, igniting a curiosity to delve deeper into this unfolding spiritual journey. With my heart set on seeking more, I gently shook the closest child awake. Let's explore, I urged softly, knowing that our next step awaited just beyond the horizon of the familiar. The others stirred, drawn into a shared vision sparked by the night's revelations. We gathered our few belongings, leaving the remnants of our fire behind, as we set off toward the edge of the beach where the waves met the rocky cliffs, a wild and untamed spirit beckoning us forward. Climbing carefully among the stones, we ventured into a realm where the sound of crashing waves intertwined with the whispers of the winds. It felt as though the cliffs were recording our movements. Every footfall resonated with the echoes of ancient spirituality, of journeys long taken by those who sought truths hidden in the sacred texts of existence. My fingers graced the cool rock surfaces, tracing etched patterns only vulnerable to those who dared to look closely. Do you feel that? One of the children asked, excitement bubbling in her voice as a gust of wind tousled her hair. It's like the rocks are alive. They are, I responded, sensing magic woven into the very fabric of this place. Every stone, every wave is a keeper of stories. Amidst the crashing tides, we stumbled upon a secluded cove, a small oasis framed by towering cliffs that seemed to cradle the world in their embrace. A sense of reverence filled the air, and I felt a deep Kalinga gathering of energy that resonated with the stone I still held in my palm. My thoughts fluttered, tracing back to the guardian's words, urging me to listen and to share. In the cove's heart, I noticed an altar of natural rock, intricately shaped as if it had been fashioned to honor the elements. I carefully placed the stone upon it, watching as sunlight refracted through the patterns engraved on its surface, casting enchanting shadows across our faces. The children gasped, eyes wide, feeling the significance threaded in this moment. What if the altar calls for an offering? One boy ventured, his brows furrowing in thought. Like sharing our hearts, our secrets. I nodded, understanding the weight of his words. Offering ourselves, our stories would be the key to unlocking deeper truths. One by one, the children stepped forward, each sharing a piece of their soul, a treasured memory, a fear that haunted them, or a dream yearning to take flight. The innocence in their voices wove a tapestry of hope and vulnerability, creating an atmosphere ripe with possibilities. As I decided to contribute my own story, a fragment of my path that led me to this spot, I felt the stone pulsate, its energy answering back to our collective sharing. The air seemed to thrum with anticipation, and then, without warning, a vivid image surged into my mind. The stone and the altar interlinked, channeling an ancient wisdom, a whispering spirit guarding the essence of life itself. I closed my eyes, caught between this imaginative realm and the physical presence of my companions, all of us connected like branches on a sturdy tree. But as quickly as the vision came, it dissipated, leaving me breathless, grappling with the profundity of what I had glimpsed. "Did you see that?" I breathed out, not entirely certain if I had shared the experience or simply vocalized my wonder. Even as I mused aloud, I could not be sure. The children around me glanced at one another, their wide eyes holding an intensity that spoke of their own inner awakenings. It was clear that something had transformed, branches of possibility extending ever wider. "What if the stone can show us more?" one of the older children suggested, her voice trembling with excitement. "Maybe it holds the answers to all our questions." The thought hung heavy in the air, igniting a fire of hope and urgency within us. "Then we must be prepared," I countered, a knot of anticipation tightening in my gut. "To embrace what we may not fully understand. To honor every shadow it casts." Together we stood at the altar of stones, the ocean's song wrapping around us like a protective cloak. With hearts aligned and spirits awakened, we breathed in the salty air, aware of the countless layers of truth awaiting us, ready for our exploration. Yet, as I gazed at the stony catalyst now resonating with the stories shared, I could not help but wonder, how deep do our shadows run? What truths lie buried within us, waiting for the courage to surface? As the waves crashed rhythmically in the cove, those questions twisted into a melody, inviting us to dance with mystery rather than flee from it. And so we stood on the precipice of discovery, ready for whatever lay ahead. The sun continued its ascent, illuminating the cove in shimmering gold, a living canvas of light that danced upon the waves. As we stood around the altar, minds alive with anticipation, the energy of our shared vulnerability vibrated in the air, electric, exhilarating, and profoundly intimate. I took a deep breath, grounding myself in the moment, yearning for clarity amid the whispers of spirit and stone. "Let's see if we can feel what the stone wants to tell us," I proposed, meeting the gaze of each child. A mix of apprehension and excitement radiated from them, and they nodded in unison, ready to embark on this exploratory meditation together. We closed our eyes, finding our grounding in the rhythm of the ocean's pulse. The air swirled around us, each gust a potential messenger. My fingers traced the edges of the stone, and slowly, I felt a warmth radiate from its heart, merging with my own spirit. Slowly, as if guided by an unseen hand, visions began to surface, images like strands of silk weaving through the tapestry of my mind. I saw a vast library filled with ancient scrolls inscribed with wisdom and knowledge, yet bathed in a mysterious fog that shrouded their meanings. Each scroll seemed to call out, echoing stories of struggles, insights, and truths that had been forgotten as time moved ever onward. I felt a yearning to unravel them, to dust off the pages and reveal their essence. As the sensation deepened, the whispers of the scrolls became voices, gentle yet insistent, urging each of us to seek our own understanding. "There is power in your stories," one voice echoed. "They hold keys to your liberation and growth." A child's laughter broke through my reverie, interrupting my trance. The sound felt pure and untainted, reminding me of the interconnectedness we all shared. I opened my eyes just in time to catch a glimpse of the glimmering tide rushing toward the stone altar. In that moment, it felt as if the ocean itself was urging us toward deeper exploration. "What did you see?" one child whispered, curiosity threading through her tone. "Visions of a library, with scrolls containing stories waiting to be told," I replied, my heart racing with the thrill of shared experience. "What about the rest of you?" They poured forth their encounters, images of gardens blooming, vast skies painted with colors unknown, and faces of people both familiar and strange. Each narrative threaded together, forming a living tapestry of connections that went beyond the corporeal world. It spoke of a collective spirit yearning for awakening. A sense of urgency hummed beneath our discussions, igniting fresh questions. What do we do with the power we discover? How do we honor these messages that have emerged? Even as these thoughts flowed, I realized our inquiry was a mirror reflecting deeper spiritual themes. We were being invited to take our revelations seriously, trusting our voices and our truths as the sun climbed higher. Casting luminous beams across the cove, I noticed a peculiar glimmer emerging from the water's edge. It swirled gently, catching the light in a mesmerizing dance. Something instinctual gripped my heart, a pull that beckoned me closer. "Look," I said, pointing toward the shimmering haze. The children turned their attention to the spectacle unfolding before us, their wide eyes filled with wonder. Together we approached the water as it ebbed and flowed in rhythmic motion, revealing hidden treasures beneath its surface. Conch shells, intricate stones, and a deep turquoise sea glass that refracted the sunlight like fragments of shattered truth. "What if these hold stories too?" another child said, kneeling to inspect a glimmering shell, its surface etched with the imprints of years gone by. "Perhaps each item is a testament to journeys of its own," I mused, kneeling beside them and letting my fingers dance over the textures. "Each tells a history of resilience, of beauty found in loss and rebirth." We collected the pieces that called to us, treasures of the earth that appeared to be waiting for souls who dared to listen. In gathering these gifts, I felt a surge of unity, as if we were harmonizing with a cosmic symphony unfolding around us, a reminder that the stories we had shared were part of a greater narrative swirling in the universe. Yet as the waves crashed and receded, washing over our feet, questions began to coil in the back of my mind like shadows. Why were these treasures appearing now? What were we meant to understand from their presence? The rhythm of the ocean engaged in a dialogue I yearned to comprehend. With our newfound treasures cradled in our hands, I understood we were merely at the threshold of this awakening. It was becoming clear that each layer of discovery carried weight, illuminating paths both bright and dark. As the sun began its descent, casting shades of purple and gold across the sky, I felt a profound awareness settle within me, a sensation that this journey was far from complete. The ocean's whispers grew louder, echoing the inquiries that pulsed through my being. What truths remained concealed beneath the surface, waiting for willing hearts to unveil them? And how might we transform our shared stories into beacons of light, guiding not just ourselves but also others who seek to navigate their own spiritual seas? As we gathered the treasures from the shore, the golden light of the setting sun painted our faces with warmth. The items we held seemed not just like coral and glass but vessels infused with energy, waiting to share their wisdom with us. Intrigued yet respectful, I led the children to sit in a circle on the soft sands, surrounding ourselves with our newfound artifacts. "Let's take a moment to honor these gifts," I suggested, my voice steady but laced with awe. "Each piece has traveled its own journey just like us." The children nodded, their faces serious yet excited, resonating with the weight of the moment. As we settled into silence, I felt the pull of the stone from the altar behind us, its energy still alive in my heart. I closed my eyes once more, allowing the vibrations of the ocean and the stories we'd uncovered to blend together. Images flickered behind my eyelids, shapes forming and dispersing like clouds in a stormy sky. The whispers grew clearer, drawing me deeper into a connection that felt both ancient and immediate. Then came a revelation. The hidden power of the scrolls from my earlier vision was not solely contained within their written words but echoed within each life story, whether inscribed on parchment or expressed through the laughter of children. "The scrolls are us," I murmured softly, my awareness deepening. "We are the stories, the living libraries of wisdom. Each emotion, each experience, each treasure we've collected embodies the truth we hold inside." Suddenly, a child's voice broke through the silence. "What if the ocean is the library?" she exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. "What if everything in it has a story?" A wave of affirmation rippled through me, encouraging more and more complexities to surface in my own thoughts. "Yes," I replied, inspired by her insight. "Perhaps the ocean is the ultimate storyteller, washing up pieces of truth from depths we have yet to explore. Just like how we carry our stories, the ocean carries the stories of all who have ever touched its waters." With this new lens, we reached for the shells and glass, examining them with fresh eyes. I noticed a large smooth piece of turquoise glass in my hand, a striking fragment shaped by time's gentle handling. "Look at this one," I called out, holding it towards the children. "It's like the ocean has smoothed away its rough edges, transforming something once jagged into beauty. This is our journey too. Through trials, we can become our most precious selves." The children began to see their own experiences reflected in the objects we had gathered. "This shell reminds me of when I was scared to speak up," one child confessed. "But then I found my courage and now I can share my thoughts." Another child picked up a conch shell, its spiral form symbolizing a journey inward, a reminder that growth often requires looking deep within ourselves. "It's like everything we collect and experience is leading us somewhere deeper," I pondered aloud, appreciating the beautiful symbiosis we had cultivated. But where is that deeper place? What else do we need to uncover? The gathering dusk draped shadows across the cove, and I sensed an awakening hunger for exploration brewing within us, a thirst for more of the unknown. There was a hum of curiosity buzzing through the air, a palpable desire to unravel yet another layer. "Let's take a walk along the shoreline," I suggested, feeling the desire for movement pulse through my veins. "Perhaps the ocean has more stories yet to share." The children sprang to their feet, collectively buoyed by a sense of adventure as we began our walk, our feet sinking into the cool, wet sand with each step. The tides whispered to us in rhythm. I became acutely aware of the heavens transitioning into a canvas of twilight, stars beginning to twinkle in their silent testimony. A soft breeze danced through my hair, carrying a faint echo of laughter that felt both familiar and foreign, like an invitation from the universe itself. As we ambled along the water's edge, something caught my eye, a flicker, a glimmer just beneath the surface. I knelt down, intrigued, and reached into the shallow water. My fingers brushed against something cold and smooth, a small figurine, half buried in the sand. I pulled it free, revealing a delicate carving of a bird in flight, its wings outstretched as if ready to soar into the depths of the sky. "Look at this," I exclaimed, holding it tightly, its intricacies shining in the fading light. The children gathered around, their faces alight with wonder, each gripping their treasures, hearts pulsating with anticipation. "What do you think it means?" I asked softly, turning the figurine over in my hands. Its weight felt heavier than mere stone, laden with untold stories. The questions tumbled out. "Does it represent freedom?" one child wondered. "Do we all have that power too?" questioned another. "What happens when we learn to spread our wings?" begged another, their voice trembling with hope. As we deliberated, I realized the deeper mystery remained unsolved, like the dark expanse of ocean that stretched endlessly before us, full of uncharted territories and hidden wonders. I felt the heavy questions nestling in my heart, echoing softly like the waves at our feet. What new stories awaited us just beneath the surface, veiled in the depths? What is the significance of this figurine in our journey, and how might it guide us toward the next chapter of our awakening? And as we unraveled our reflections under the watchful gaze of the stars, I couldn't shake the sensation that greater truths were waiting to rise, just as the tide would return to swallow the shore yet again. As we stood bathed in the glow of twilight, the air thick with possibility, the skies began to reflect hues of lavender and deep indigo, capturing the essence of a world on the cusp of transformation. I could feel the children's excitement bubbling like the gentle waves lapping at our feet, each one eager to add their voice to the unfolding narrative surrounding us. "Perhaps this bird is a sign of our own potential," I mused, holding the figurine closer. "It may guide us toward dreams yet unfledged, urging us to venture beyond our comfort zones." As I spoke, I felt an unexpected warmth emanating from the carving, a pulse of energy that seemed to connect me with each child present. "Let's walk a little farther," I suggested, my heart beating in sync with the rhythm of the tides. With every step, I became more attuned to the sensations around us, the sand cool beneath our toes, the scent of salt in the air, and the distant calls of seabirds returning to their nests. There was something magical about this evening, as if nature itself conspired to reveal its hidden treasures. Just off the shore, where the waves kissed the sand, I noticed a line of driftwood, weathered and twisted, each piece telling its own story of endurance. I approached it, my fingers tracing the rough texture, wondering about its journey. "What do you think these pieces might symbolize?" I asked the children as they caught up. "They seem old and wise," one child replied, "like they've seen a lot and learned from it." Yes, I nodded, feeling inspired. It's as if they remind us that even the hardest trials can result in beauty and strength. I glanced back down the shore, the water glimmering in the dim light, and felt a gentle nudge from the universe. Shall we ask the waves what stories they carry tonight? Intrigued, the children followed suit, kneeling at the edge of the water, eyes wide with expectation. The waves rolled in rhythm, whispering soft secrets with every lap against the shore. I closed my eyes once more, inviting the resonance of the ocean to wash over me. Imagine what lies beneath, I said, allowing the words to flow like the tide. What is hidden in the depths, what burdens submerged, what treasures forgotten? The water lapped at our hands and I began to sense that the ocean itself was responding to us, revealing an invitation to delve deeper into our own being. Suddenly, I felt a surge of intuition. Each wave receding was an echo of life's own ebbs and flows, a reminder of all the moments we have faced, the joys and the sorrows. What if, I proposed, each wave carries away our fears while returning with gifts of understanding and clarity? A quiet reflection settled among us, gazes directed at the undulating water. Then we must be brave, one child insisted, determination gleaming in her eyes. We have to let go of our fears to find whatever is waiting for us. An encouraging current of energy flooded through me, and I realized we had begun an important dialogue with the universe, an age-old conversation about the cyclical nature of life, growth, and transformation. With a shared sense of purpose, we formulated a plan to write down our fears and hopes, to release them into the ocean as a conduit of our intentions. First, we collected small stones from the shore, identifying each as a vessel for our burdens. The children shared their fears aloud, while others quietly added their thoughts to the circle. One child added, "I'm afraid of being alone." Another confessed, "I fear I will never be enough." Each revelation was met with empathy, weaving a fabric of understanding and strength amongst us. Once we assembled our collection of stones, I gathered the children in a tight circle. "Let's write our hopes and fears on these stones," I suggested, pulling out a piece of chalk I had stashed in my pocket. "When we're ready, we will toss them into the ocean and let the waves carry away what no longer serves us." With determination and the glow of twilight surrounding us, we began to inscribe words on the stones. I reflected on my own entries, the unnamed weight I carried hidden deep within, the sense of purpose grappling with self-doubt. Each child wrote fervently, the words echoing in the spaces of our hearts. When the stones were finished, we formed a procession down to the water's edge, each child clutching their stone tightly, eyes shimmering with anticipation. "Let's take a moment," I instructed, allowing a pause to settle over us. As we cast our stones, let's imagine the ocean absorbing our fears, washing them away. And as we release them, we welcome the possibilities that await us. One by one, we tossed our stones into the water, watching them disappear beneath the waves. A collective breath echoed through the air, filled not only with the release of burdens, but also brimming with hope and the spirit of renewal. The water churned, reflecting our emotions, as though the ocean had indeed embraced our offerings, responding with a gentle surge that splashed against our increased joyful affirmation. But as we stood there, a new question arose, lingering in the air like the scent of salt. In this act of letting go, what truly awaits us in return? What wisdom can we derive from releasing our fears? And how will it shape our journey from this point forward? In the dance of the ocean and the undercurrents of our own lives, the answers felt just out of reach, mysterious yet promising, urging us to keep questioning as we walked further into the night. As the last glimmer of daylight faded, we found ourselves surrounded by a kaleidoscope of stars twinkling overhead, a celestial reminder of the vastness we inhabited. With each twinkle came a whisper of the unseen, a flicker of understanding yet to be grasped. My heart swelled with a sense of kinship, both with the children and the universe that enveloped us. As we turned away from the shoreline, the rhythm of the ocean still resonating in our hearts, a new journey beckoned us to explore deeper meanings hidden within ourselves. "Can you feel that?" I asked, prompting the children. "The energy of this moment, the stories waiting to unfold?" They nodded, a mixture of wonder and curiosity lighting up their faces. I could see in their eyes not only the reflection of the stars above, but also the burgeoning awareness that within them lay untapped reservoirs of potential, waiting to be discovered. That we wandered away from the beach, the soft sand giving way to the cool, firm earth of a nearby forest. The transition felt seamless, as if the land was guiding us towards new insights. Trees towered above, their branches whispering secrets to one another in the gentle breeze. An invitation to listen closely. The air grew dense with earthy aromas, a comforting reminder of the sanctity of nature. Let's find a spot to sit and reflect, I suggested, encouraged by the enchanting ambience of the woods. We settled in a clearing, radiant with moonlight and surrounded by the fortitude of ancient trees. As we nestled among the roots and the foliage, a profound stillness enveloped us, inviting contemplation. What if, I began, the forest has its own wisdom to share with us? Just as we released our fears to the ocean, perhaps we can ask the trees what lessons they hold. The children exchanged glances, curiosity sparkling like the stars above, and I felt their excitement ripple through the group. Let's do a little exercise. Well, close our eyes, take deep breaths, and listen, I instructed. Imagine each breath inviting us closer to the essence of nature surrounding us. As we inhaled the fresh, crisp air, I guided them. With every exhale, release any lingering doubts or questions. We fell into silence, the world around us fading as we tuned into the heartbeat of the forest. The rustling leaves harmonized with our rhythmic breaths. And in that stillness, I felt a pulse of energy presence that seemed to emanate from the very roots of the towering trees. It was as if the spirits of the forest were alive, reminding us of the sacred bond we shared with all living things. After several moments, I invited everyone to share what thoughts came to mind. Slowly, hands began to rise, voices intertwining in hesitant excitement that I felt courage. One child shared, her voice soft but firm. Like the trees don't fear the storms, they stand tall and strong. That makes me think about resilience, another chimed in. How we too can stand tall even when life gets hard. Or how about growth? I mused, feeling our conversation take a life of its own. The trees bend and sway but never break, always adapting. What can we learn about our own growth from them? The dialogue deepened with each revelation, a merging of thoughts that felt sacred and significant. We discussed roots anchoring us in love and support, branches reaching toward dreams and aspirations, and leaves that represent our experiences, sometimes vibrant and full of life, other times shedding to make room for new growth. Just then, a sudden gust of wind swept through the clearing, rustling the leaves in an almost playful manner. In that moment, I felt a wave of serendipity wash over me, a confirmation that our reflections were striking a chord with nature itself. I could almost hear an echoing truth stirring, urging us to embrace the lessons unfolding around us. As the night deepened, we decided to rise and explore further. Wandering deeper into the woods, the sounds of nature enveloped us in a comforting embrace. A stray beam of moonlight illuminated our path, urging us onward. The air was thick with the scent of pine and earth, and the trees seemed to conspire with us in a rhythm, guiding us along a trail that felt preordained. Then, as if summoned by our intent, we stumbled upon a colossal stone, its surface adorned with peculiar markings, smoothed by centuries of weathering. There was an age-old wisdom etched within, speaking of transformation, of sacred journeys taken by those who dared to explore the unknown. Look, I exclaimed, heart racing at the sight. These may be ancient symbols of enlightenment. The children gathered around, enraptured by the mystique of the stone. I encouraged them to touch it, to feel the energy coursing through it. What do you think these symbols might mean? I asked, inviting their imaginations to awaken. I think they talk about the power of belief, one ventured, tracing a pattern with their finger. Like the belief that we can create our own stories. Or maybe, another added thoughtfully, they remind us that our journeys can be messy, but that's okay. It's part of the adventure. The discussions blossomed, each child adding their interpretation, weaving a rich tapestry of meaning around our discovery. I sense we had stumbled upon something significant, a catalyzing moment in our expansion of consciousness. As we prepared to leave the stone behind and venture back, a final question weighed heavily in the air like a thick fog, leaving me in a state of wonder. What if these symbols are guiding us deeper into our own stories, unlocking hidden parts of ourselves we've yet to understand? What wisdom do they hold for our journeys ahead? And how might we use this newfound knowledge to navigate the complexities of our lives? With our hearts full and minds ignited by curiosity, we headed back, the path illuminated by both the stars above and the flickering embers of inspiration within us. The inner quest was far from complete. Rather, it had only just begun, laying the groundwork for the profound revelations yet to come. As we retraced our steps through the forest, the enchanting stillness left in our wake began to fade, replaced by an excited hum of thoughts and questions. The ancient stone's markings lingered in my mind, each symbol pulsating with possibilities. What stories might they hold? And how were they linked to our unfolding journey? Lost in contemplation, I almost didn't hear a child call my name, breaking the spell of the moment. "Look!" she exclaimed, eyes wide with wonder. Following her gaze, I spotted a faint light shimmering through the trees ahead. My heart raced as curiosity propelled us forward. The light grew brighter as we drew closer, revealing a hidden grove bathed in a warm, ethereal luminosity. Framed by towering oaks, the area seemed almost sacred, as if time had paused to cradle it in its arms. We stepped into the clearing, the air charged with a palpable energy that thrummed beneath our feet. In the center of the grove stood a magnificent tree, more magnificent than any we had encountered thus far. Its trunk was wide and gnarled, a testament to its age and resilience, while its branches arched gracefully toward the heavens. Soft, glowing orbs danced among its leaves, casting delicate patterns of light across the ground, illuminating every crevice and shadow. "Do you see that?" I whispered, almost afraid to disturb the serenity of the moment. The children nodded, their eyes reflecting the wonder that mirrored my own. There was an understanding that we were meant to witness this spectacle, a piece of magic meant for our journey. "Let's sit beneath the tree," I suggested, feeling an instinctual pull towards its roots. We gathered together in a circle, the cool soil providing a comforting foundation. As we closed our eyes, I encouraged everyone to listen to the ancient wisdom this tree might impart. "Imagine the stories it has witnessed, the storms it has weathered, and the lives it has nurtured," I guided softly. "What can we learn from its strength and longevity?" Silence enveloped us once more, punctuated only by the gentle rustling of leaves. Visions began to flow, each child's imagination painting with vibrant strokes. One by one, they began to share their inner revelations, resonating with a deeper understanding of existence itself. "I saw all the seasons it has lived through," a boy said, his voice infused with awe. "Spring full of blossoms, summer abundant with life, autumn shedding its leaves, and winter waiting for rebirth. It reminds me that life is constantly changing." Another chimed in. "It feels like the tree is inviting us to be grounded, to remember our roots while reaching for our dreams. We can grow just like it does." As their reflections wove together, I felt a stirring connection not only among us but with the very essence of nature itself. It was as if the tree, in its quiet majesty, asked us to embrace our own transformations while remaining anchored in what truly matters. Then out of the stillness, a soft whisper rolled through the grove, nearly lost among the chatter of the children. "Seek the truth within." The voice was faint but undeniably clear, as if the tree was speaking directly to our hearts. We paused, entranced. "What does that mean?" one child asked, a frown creasing their brow. The question hung in the air, weighty and significant. What truth were we to seek, and how might we carry it with us as we ventured forth? "We must look inside ourselves," I replied, my voice steady yet laced with curiosity. "The answers we seek may not always be what we expect. Sometimes they are hidden beneath layers of fear, doubt, and distraction." A sense of urgency welled within me, igniting a newfound determination to guide the children toward their own inner explorations. "Let's consider how we can quiet the noise surrounding us," I suggested. "What practices can help us peel back those layers to find our truth?" As we shared ideas, suggestions flowed like water. Meditation, nature walks, journaling, acts of kindness. Each method seemed to resonate deeply, and the children's enthusiasm ignited a collective firea, shared commitment to embark on their own quests for truth. Yet, even as our conversation flourished, I couldn't shake the tremor of uncertainty that had settled in my stomach. What if uncovering our truth led us to revelations we were unprepared to face? What if the journey within brought forth darkness we weren't ready to confront? I looked at the towering tree above us, its steadfast presence reminding me that growth demands courage and humility. It was fine to embrace the unknown, to wander without a map as long as we remained open to exploration and discovery, willing to face whatever truths might emerge. As we left the grove, the light illuminating our path faded slightly, the playful orbs retreating into the shadows. With our hearts ignited yet again, we ventured onward, both exhilaratingly and fearfully aware that the deeper we sought, the more profound the questions became. What truths await us on this journey? And can we truly embrace the darkness as part of our radiant quest for understanding? The night held its breath, leaving us with more questions than answers, but each step echoed with the promise of profound revelations yet to come. The night deepened into velvet darkness, swirling around us as we emerged from the grove. Our hearts danced with uncertainty and excitement, shadows of the unknown folded like stories yet unwritten. The stars above twinkled like beacons guiding us through the maze of our queries, casting long reflections on the journey we had undertaken together. Each whisper of wind against the trees seemed to promise more truths waiting, urging us to dig deeper, to look closer. As we meandered back toward the shoreline, I felt a pressure building within my chest, an urgency that swelled with each step. I had led the children through a labyrinth of self-discovery, yet I sensed the path still stretched far before us. We've learned so much, I said, breaking the silence that had nestled over us like a familiar blanket. It's time to consider, what do we wish to do with this knowledge? Their eyes sparkled with intrigue, and one brave child stepped forth. Let's share what we've discovered. Each of our truths can help someone else. A murmur of agreement rippled through the group, buoying my spirit. Now I understood the stories we had collected were not just meant for ourselves. They called for voices to be raised, to be shared as lanterns illuminating the way for others lost in their spiritual fog. Yes, I exclaimed, my heart resonating with her insight. Let's take a moment before we head back, to honor each revelation. Let's speak from the heart, even if our truths feel small or unformed. Each word carries weight, just as every grain of sand shapes the beach. As we settled once more on the cool sands, the rhythmic sound of surf cradled us in its embrace. The ocean, with its deep understanding and ancient wisdom, became a witness to our revelations. My voice trembled slightly as I began, and I shared a piece of my journey, the weight of doubt I frequently battled, and how I discovered that vulnerability was a strength, not a weakness. The children shifted closer, wrapped in the warmth of quiet vulnerability. One by one they opened their mouths, unearthing their truths with the gentle tenderness of dawn. They shared stories stained with grief and colored with joy of fears faced and lessons learned. Each voice became a thread in the tapestry, weaving connections that resonated in the night air. As the sun began to rise on the horizon, painting the world with strokes of gold and fiery orange, I felt a shift within me. In those moments, amidst the shared vulnerabilities, something magical unfolded, a profound understanding that every soul carries a unique essence, an invaluable story that holds the potential to spark change and healing in those who hear it. The ocean may carry our fears and burdens, I reminded them, but it also holds the power to wash away shame and silence. Let's promise to tell our stories wherever we go, to let our truth rise like the tide and touch others. I watched their eyes light up, understanding now blossoming within them as morning cast its light over their faces. And then, as if the universe conspired with our resolution, the air buzzed with newly birthed potential, and we felt a sense of belonging unfurling within USA family forged not by blood but by collective understanding and experience. As we gathered our belongings, I realized we were no longer just individuals on a quest. We had transformed into guardians of the stories, each tasked with the sacred responsibility of sharing our lessons with the world. During our trek back along the beach, I glanced at the horizon, where the sea met the sky, a golden line marking the threshold between what was known and what lay beyond. Each wave seemed to echo the promise of further awakening, reminding us that our journey was far from over. The answers rarely lie laid out before us like a map. Instead, they whispered to be uncovered through exploration, connection, and courage. And there, at the shoreline, as the last traces of night melted into a new day, I embraced the ultimate truth laid bare before us. Life isn't about finding undeniable answers or achieving destination. It is about the richness of the journey itself. It is about seeking connection and sharing our hearts in a symphony of stories that flow like the tides, an infinite dance of love, courage, and transformation. Thus, hand in hand with my companions, we stepped forward into the dawn, aware now that the light would never cease, illuminating our paths as we continued to write our stories individually and collectively. In that moment, a single thought crystallized, echoing in my soul like a resonant chime. We are not separate, but interconnected threads of the same profound fabric, destined to weave the extraordinary into the everyday. And as we turned our backs to the past and faced the sunrise, I whispered into the wind, "Let us be the light that others seek," a testament to the power of unfolding truth.